Hey, it's May 10th. Thought I'd show you what's going on out here in the vegetable garden. It's been a while since I've shown you what's been going on, see how things have been growing. So let's have a look. Cannas are starting to come up a little bit. Hydrangea is getting pretty big, says the Japanese Akuba. Peas have really taken off. They're starting to grow together, as I suspected they might. I went ahead and put a little piece of timber in there to kind of support it, see if they grow up on it a little bit. Cilantro is looking really good. Probably have cilantro to eat, and could probably start eating it now, but I would like to let it get a little bit bigger before I harvest it. I'll probably give a good bit of it away because I don't need anywhere near that much for things like salsa and other garnishes, but it's easy to grow. So this is where the radishes were. You can see what those are carrots, and those are cilantro from the first time I planted stuff here and decided I didn't like it and dug it up and planted radishes here. Well, that stuff's starting to actually start to come up now, both the carrots and the cilantro. But I did plant some additional cilantro in through here after I picked the radishes. This lettuce is actually second growth. I've picked all of it, and then this is it'll grow back at least once for you to be able to eat it. It tastes a little bit less good each time it grows back to pick and eat, but it will nevertheless grow back for a second harvest. I went ahead and planted there, and there some. Those are actually miniature white pumpkins. We bought a couple of those last year around Halloween for decoration, and I cut one up. We carved one, and I took all the seeds out of it and saved them, and decided I'd try to grow miniature white pumpkins because they cost like $5 each. So we'll try to save some money doing that. My tomato in the container is looking okay, I guess. Never really grown tomato in a container before, so we'll see how that goes. My cucumbers are all looking pretty decent. I'll probably have to thin these out a good bit. I'll probably take, a third of those cucumbers out of there, otherwise they'd get too crowded. But I'll just wait maybe another, 4 or 5 days and see which ones look the best. My green beans are also starting to get pretty big, starting to look pretty good. I went ahead and put these little supports here for them to grow up on. I did thin these out a little bit too, but I probably could thin them out a little bit more, but I think I'm gonna go with, they say 6 inches in between. I'm gonna go with more closer to 4 or 5, just because I'm limited on space. And then the okra are coming up nicely, both rows of them. I replanted a couple of them and those seeds came up. I'll need to thin these out to about one every 10 or 12 inches. Right now I've got one about every 4 inches, so I'll definitely have to thin those out if they get anywhere near as big as they got last year. Got peppers here, mystery weeds there, tomatoes getting pretty big. This tomato here I just sort of planted as an afterthought. It's a cherry tomato. It's getting bigger than any of them. So I'm sure, as it always is, the one that has the smallest cage will get the biggest. Anyway, let's see what else is going on here. My spineless prickly pear is starting to grow some additional pads. Those little points there are actually the spines, and so when they get mature, like these ones, they'll fall off, and then where those little soft spines are, the tiny little hard spines will grow, which, as I've said before, will stick you in your finger and it hurts really bad. Starting to get a bloom on the coneflower. Canna's coming up. So here's Grandma Perot's peony. It had 2 blooms. One kind of bloomed out already. This one just bloomed a couple days ago, but I think it looks nice. It's so nice, deep, sort of purple violet color, which I prefer versus, you know, the lighter reds or the pinks. So that's good. Cone flowers are starting to head out and bloom a little bit, mostly the purple ones. There are some white ones in here, but they don't reseed and spread as profusely as the purple ones for some reason. All right, I went ahead and in here before I had an elm tree in that little container. I thought it was a Chinese elm, but the more I got to looking at it, it just looks like some sort of, looked like a trash elm. So I pulled it out of there and got rid of it, and I put a Kentucky coffee tree in there, one that Max and I grew from the seeds that we collected in Nebraska last winter. Since I have like 6 of them growing in containers now, I figured I'd put one in my garden bed here in one of the sort of featured containers. So my black and blue salvia are starting to send up spires. You can see they kind of bend over like that until they start to turn blue. But yeah, the first year I had these, I thought something was wrong with them. They were sort of, you know, bent over like that. But in about 4 or 5 days, probably those will be sticking straight up, and there will be not just the black blooms on there, but really, as I've said before, the dark sort of cobalt blue blooms as well. And really just my canna over here. Fig, I don't know, we'll see how it does. Seems like I'm just kind of keeping it alive right now. But the wicked garden is looking nice. The spiderwort are blooming nicely. They're blooming a little bit later in the day because it's a cooler day out, but usually those blooms close up once it starts getting about 80 degrees out. Black-eyed Susans are getting big but not blooming yet. My bee balm, I don't know, I'm a little disappointed in it. It started to grow really big and really fast earlier in the spring, and then it started to get kind of tall, and then these things started to fall down. And when they fall down, they sometimes tend to die, so there's not a whole lot of those left. So I'm not sure how the bee balm is going to do in this garden. Obviously it's the first year it's been here, so it's always an experiment, but if it doesn't survive, I guess I'll just try something else. But I'll give it a year, obviously, to see what it does. But yeah, you can see that Black-eyed Susan's getting huge. I suppose I'll have to divide it at some point. Yeah, the spiderwort's looking good there. Also another simply huge Black-eyed Susan. So yeah, that's basically it. Warm weather does wonders. Otherwise, getting ready to grill some food tonight. It's pretty funny that the figs in my containers here look better than the one I have in the ground over there, but I guess that's how it goes. It's also probably worth mentioning that I use chemical fertilizers on the ones in the containers. I've moved pretty much all my oak saplings and other saplings out into the full sun area that I've grown from seed. I still really have no idea what I'm going to do with those. The original idea was I was going to grow them for the HOA, and then they would plant them on green space, but we're actually running out of green space to plant trees on, so I may just end up giving them to neighbors or doing something else with them. Anyway, I thought I would just show you what's been going on out here. So I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.